Hey everybody, this is Joe with the Daily Logistics, where we discuss how you can grow and improve your rental company through digital solutions. We're back here for another tutorial today. Today we're in QuickBooks, and we're going to talk about invoice dates and how to date your invoices. It may seem pretty intuitive to some of you, but within QuickBooks it is a little tricky sometimes if you've never done it before, just because of the way that they do their filtering and how you can view those invoices. And so when you're doing rental orders, typically those rental orders, if they're events or even if they're equipment, a lot of times you'll book them in advance. And so it can be tricky when you're trying to find those invoices that are coming up for this week, next month, for orders that are coming up, as opposed to orders that you placed, several weeks ago. And so I'm going to show you how that works here. We're in the dashboard right now, but if we just click over into invoicing, and this will look familiar to most of you. You've got your overview, your invoices, payment links, customers, all sales, and then products and services. So today, I like to go into all sales when you're in QuickBooks Online. When you're in all sales, you have this filter option where you can filter by the type of transaction, the status, the delivery method, the date. They have a couple of pre-built options here in a drop-down menu, and then you also have a date range that you can select specific dates in the future or specific date ranges. And so that's nice. However, the problem comes, most companies will create their invoices, and the invoice date will be the date that they create the invoice. And so that's typical for any normal company that's billing for products or services that have happened in the past, and now you're collecting payment on those services or those products. However, with rentals, you're booking for orders in advance typically, and so then it becomes tricky if you're going to say, okay, well, show me my orders that are coming up for this week. If I click into this date range picker and I select, let's say this next weekend on the 21st of August, if I select that as my date to see all my invoices, my open invoices for that date, and I hit apply, well, you can see I have no invoices listed here. And that's because I haven't created any invoices that have an invoice date of that day. If I were, let's say I had an event coming up next week, but I created an invoice for it 3 weeks ago when the client booked, if I didn't put that day as the invoice date, the day that their event is, then there's no way I'm going to know that this order is coming up. And so that presents a little problem. So what do you got to do? Well, the key is to future date the invoices so that you can see what's coming up on any given date. And just give you an example of that, I'm going to go ahead and create an invoice for you. So we're going to go to New Transaction and hit Invoice. And we'll go through the normal procedures, select a customer for our invoice. And then filling out the fields, you'll notice that it defaults the invoice date here to today's date, 8/13. But what I like to do is I like to date the invoice for the date of the event. So if this event is happening on the 21st, then I'll select the 21st as the invoice date. And then with the due date, you can select whatever date you want. We don't typically filter by due date. And so if you require a payment up front, you could put the due date as a week prior, the day of, the day before, a week after. However, your company policy manages due dates for particular invoices or orders, you can put whatever date you want there. So typically we require payment the day before, so I'm going to select the 20th. And then we're going to move down to our ship and our return dates. Now these are custom fields that we've added into our QuickBooks template in order for a Daily Logistics, our software, to be able to track the inventory that's on this invoice. Basically, our system will look for these ship and return dates and then calculate inventory accordingly based off of when these items are expected to be out of the warehouse and when they're expected to return. So our company policy is that we typically deliver the day before. And so when I set this order up, I'm going to say that the ship date is on 8/20/2021, which is the day before their event date. And the 21st is a Saturday. We typically pick up the following Monday. So I would put 8/23/2021 as the return date. Okay, so that's very important. And we're going to go ahead and just add a few items to our invoice here. Okay, so you'll notice I've added a couple of items here. We're renting out some 72-inch round tables, some resin chairs, and some linens for those tables. And then down here I have my delivery information. Now I've created a bundle for all of this delivery information just to make it easier on myself to not have to type out each and every one of these line items every time I create a delivery order. But essentially you're adding a delivery fee here, a delivery address, a customer contact, delivery time range, and pickup time range. Our system at Daily Logistics uses each of these line items for different features that we provide through our mobile applications and our web applications so that you can manage your rentals a little bit more efficiently and supply your teams with the tools that they need to carry out this order. But essentially with this delivery address, you're going to just put the address of the delivery in the description field. And then the same thing with the customer contact. Now this could be the event coordinator, it could be the primary contact, whoever's in charge of this order for the day of event delivery. You're going to put their phone number in here so that your drivers will have the ability to click to call that customer when they're on their way to the order or when they're on their way for pickup, whichever the case may be. And then we have our delivery time range here. We're planning on delivering this Friday. Oops, looks like I missed a Y in there. Friday, August 21st between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. And then we're going to pick up on the following Monday anytime. And these could be whatever time that you've agreed upon with your customer for this delivery and the pickup. When I hit save on this invoice, and then I go back to my sales here, and I hit filter, and I filter for this date, now that invoice is going to show up indicating that I have an order coming up on that date to be delivered. And this would be the case for any future date that you would have an order coming up. I could do this for October, September, November, and then you would simply filter by the date or date range that you want to see those orders for. So this is a quick and easy way to manage and make sure that you don't miss any upcoming events or overlook them in terms of inventory for those events. If you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. And that's it for today, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.